Most of us have heard of some of the biggest nonprofit fundraising campaigns in recent history, like ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, Red Nose Day, Movember, and more. They've inspired us, they've captured public attention, and they've raised millions and millions of dollars. But why do they work? What lessons can smaller organizations or even startup nonprofit organizations learn from these massively successful fundraising campaigns? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm Amber Melanie Smith. If we haven't met before, hey, thanks for watching. I'm a nonprofit founder and executive director who makes these videos here on YouTube all about social impact, starting a nonprofit, social enterprise organization, volunteering, community leadership, and lots more. So be sure to check out the rest of the channel for more content like this. I also have a newsletter you can check out in the link below this video in the description. You can subscribe to get tips, resources, information, etc., all about starting up a nonprofit or social enterprise or all those other wonderful things that I mentioned. Oh, and my website, foundertofulltime.com, if you're looking for more guidance on the actual process of starting a nonprofit or developing a sustainable fundraising plan. I have some online courses at that website too that you can check out. All right, so let's get into some of these things that these hugely successful fundraising campaigns did to reach the levels of success that they reached. I wanted to take a look at some of the most famous, well-known fundraising campaigns and ask myself, what do all these campaigns have in common? I was able to identify about 7 different characteristics that they have in common that are threaded throughout all of these campaigns, and some of the campaigns do better in some of these characteristics and some in others, but overall they all had these, and these are campaigns that have raised at least $100 million each, so you know they're doing something right. All right, characteristic number 1, this is a basic, common sense, foundational, non-negotiable trait that all fundraising campaigns need to have. Regardless of your size and scope of your campaign, you've got to have this. And this is a clear and compelling mission statement, both for your organization and whatever project you might be raising money for. And the reason for this is very simple. People don't donate to projects or organizations that they don't understand, that confuse them in some way. I mean, think about it. Would you donate to a campaign that was confusing to you? Probably not. So being super clear on the mission, the goals of the organization, and what your money will go towards is very, very important. And I know this sounds like kind of a common sense thing that maybe even you might feel isn't even worth mentioning, but here's what I'll say about that. I have encountered so many organizations, especially newer and startup organizations, that don't quite nail the mission statement, that are not quite sure how to craft it in a way that makes sense to people. So there's a quick test that you can do to see if your mission statement is clear and compelling, and it's simply ask 3 to 4 friends to explain your mission back to you. If they get it right, if it's accurate, if it sounds compelling, then you have a clear mission statement. Characteristic number 2 that I want to talk about across all these campaigns is great storytelling. There's a lot of really wonderful research out there that shows the power of storytelling versus just hearing statistics about an issue or a cause. People are more likely to donate when inspired by a story, especially a story about someone, an individual or community impacted by the work of your organization. So great storytelling is a component of that. You can also include stories about the consequences of not addressing the issue that your fundraising campaign is raising money to address. Lots of great angles there. The goal here is to make an emotional connection with donors, because ultimately at the end of the day, making a donation is an emotional decision, not necessarily a logical one. So making that emotional connection is really important. And one of the most successful organizations at doing this is Charity Water. Their viral, sometimes documentary style videos have compelled donors around the world to really take notice of the work that they are doing.
No one, no man, no woman, no child should ever have to drink green water with bugs with algae with disease in it.
Because of storytelling like this, Charity Water has raised well over $100 million since 2006. If you're wondering how to use some of the same strategy that Charity Water has used for a much smaller scale or newer nonprofit organization, here are 3 additional things that really stand out in their fundraising campaign and their messages that you can easily replicate yourself. The first is there's a strong focus on transparency with Charity Water. They make a big deal out of showcasing how every dollar donated is spent with the organization. The second is they use a lot of impactful visuals. They do this in the video, but if you go to their website, they're also showcasing a lot of photos of real human beings with, expressions and actions happening in the photographs that really paint a picture of the story being told. And the third thing that they do here is they have a strong call to action, which means they're actively inviting people to become donors through their different innovative campaigns. And there's a lot of different ways that you can give. You can give to different campaigns, you can give one time, you can give recurring. So giving donors lots of options is helpful too. The third trait that these successful fundraising campaigns have in common is personalization. They understand that not every type of messaging, not every type of issue or cause is going to necessarily connect with every single person in the world. Your donors are not necessarily everyone in the world, though that would be nice. They're going to be a specific segment of the population that is most likely to connect to your specific cause. And these campaigns do a really good job of personalizing and tailoring and customizing their messaging to reach those different segments. One of the most successful campaigns of this is Movember. You can tell just by looking at their graphics, listening to the music that they have in their videos or on their site, to the different stories they choose to showcase, their marketing materials, etc., that they seem to have a really strong command of their audience. And so because of their segmenting, their tailoring of their messaging, since about 2003, they've also raised over $100 million for men's health issues. A couple of additional things that Movember has done that are great strategies you could try in your campaigns as well is the first is they made it really personal to a degree that reaches you in your face. That means one of their campaigns is that they encourage men to grow mustaches during the month of November. Few things are as personal as that. It gives these folks the opportunity to tell their friends what they're doing, to talk about it on social media, to join in raising money for the cause, and it's really built in viral marketing right there. And part of that, the second thing that they do is they've got this really strong branding, as I mentioned, but they also have community building around the cause. So they'll have opportunities for participants and donors to connect to each other and build a community around the issues that they're talking about. And third is, like I said, they're all over social media. They also have events and partnerships with different brands to further expand the reach of their campaigns also. So all of these combined tactics lead to lots of dollars raised for the issues. The fourth characteristic I want to talk about is something I alluded to before, and that is a clear call to action. And that means you have a straightforward request of the person visiting your website, watching your video, engaging with you in some way. You are requesting something very clear and specific from them. And it could be anything from sign up to join our newsletter, to come volunteer at an event, to donate $5 or donate $100. Whatever the case may be, you have to be clear and actually make that ask. You could have the best storytelling, the best branding in the world, but if you don't follow through and actually have that call to action, all that inspiration is going to go to waste. One of the most successful at doing this is, of course, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. You don't get a more clear call to action than this. Donate or throw a bucket of ice water over your head. It's pretty clear.
On my count, 3, 2, 1.
So as a result of this, and of course the famous viral marketing campaign that accompanied it, since about 2014, they've raised over $115 million. A few additional points about what made this campaign a success. Obviously, we talked about the virality, if that's how you would say that, of their social media campaign. It made it very easy to spread fast and far. There was a peer-to-peer fundraising element, which is when one person asks their friends to contribute to the cause on their behalf. In the videos, you'll see people right before or perhaps right after they dump ice water on their heads. They will challenge some number of friends to also do the challenge or make a donation, or hopefully both. And so when you're asking your friends to donate, that's work that the nonprofit doesn't have to do to raise money because you're doing it for them. So peer-to-peer fundraising is always helpful. And the third thing is it was a very simple challenge. Most people had the tools needed around their house to be able to participate. And of course, you might be a little shy around the camera, but it's not like you had to do a TED Talk. You could just dump water on your head. And so the simplicity of it made it accessible, made it easy for lots of different types of people to get involved, which just furthered its reach. The fifth characteristic was a sense of urgency. And I'm actually going to go back to the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge for this example as well, because you'll see in a lot of the videos that there was a deadline to participate. They would say within 24 hours, you need to either do your own ice bucket challenge or make your donation, etc. So that time limit on it created a sense of urgency. There was like a countdown effect. I will say not every fundraising campaign is going to be successful with a 24-hour deadline. You'd probably have to have a lot of donors on your email list to attempt something in that quick of a turnaround. So I'm sure ALS had at least a good foundation for that. But you do want to keep it somewhat urgent. So maybe a couple of weeks to maybe a month for your fundraising campaign to give it time to get out there into the world and have people share it. The sixth characteristic I'm going to talk about is community engagement. All of these campaigns did a really good job of kind of inviting their donors along for the ride. They gave them ways to participate hands-on. They shared impacts along the way, such as how much had been raised towards their goals or how many people had been impacted so far, etc. So keeping people engaged throughout the process is a really important part of community engagement. And one of the most successful organizations at this, or campaigns at this, is Relay for Life.
Relay for Life is the world's largest fundraiser.
It's a rally.
A movement.
It's a celebration of life!
Now, this is American Cancer Society's campaign, Relay for Life, and it's more of an ongoing campaign that is still going. So you can see how over time they'd be able to mobilize hundreds and then thousands of people as your neighbor down the street participates and then invites 10 of his friends, etc. So getting all those people involved on the ground, walking, running, etc. It's an easy way to get involved, just like the Ice Bucket Challenge. This is a really big campaign, and they've had a little bit more time to have it grow and evolve. Since about 1985, they have raised over like $400 million. A couple of things to point out, again, as contributing factors to their success. It's simple to get involved. Participating and signing up is easy, so you can just go sign up to participate and get all the instructions that you need. The second thing is the cause is widely understood. Most people know someone in some way impacted by cancer, so it's something that a lot of people can empathize with and relate to and agree that cancer needs to go away. So you already have a wide reach with the issue being addressed. And the third thing is there are also lots of opportunities to engage in other ways. If donating money is not something that you're able to do at this time, volunteering, spreading the word on social media are other ways to support. So having those built-in mechanisms for community engagement that don't necessarily involve fundraising actually lead to more dollars raised, because we know that when people volunteer, when people get involved in other ways, that encourages donations also. The seventh characteristic I'm going to talk about today is collaborations and partnerships. This can be with brands, companies, other organizations, celebrities, influencers, etc. But anything that you can do to grow the reach of your campaign. One campaign that's done a really good job at this is Red Nose Day. They, of course, if you've seen their videos, partner with a lot of different celebrities and influencers that you've probably seen around. And who doesn't like to see one of their favorite celebrities wearing a super cute red nose?
It is made to fit neatly on your nose. And yours. And yours.
And that's where the magic begins. Because when you buy one, lives begin to change.
These partnerships have amplified their message, and they've been able to raise over $100 million annually since 2015. A couple of things that were part of this campaign, of course, are, like I said, those collaborations, but more than that, you can see how every time they partnered with a celebrity or you see a celebrity wearing a red nose, they're making it their own. They're not all doing it the exact same way. So having that collaborative appeal of having a partner and giving them permission to kind of make the campaign their own, that can go a long way as well. Engaging programming on TV and social media all helped expand the reach as well. And then making online donations and sharing the opportunities to donate really easy is another factor that made the campaign a success. I'd love to hear from you. Are there other really popular or very successful fundraising campaigns that you've kind of admired from afar? Share those in the comments and share what you think made those a success. As I mentioned before, if you are working on developing your own sustainable fundraising campaign or starting a nonprofit, I have some online courses at my website, foundertofulltime.com. Check those out. I also have a newsletter that you can subscribe to for tips and resources and sometimes funding opportunities that I come across. The link to subscribe to that is below the video as well. Final thing, I have a group on Facebook called Change the World or Bust. We've got almost 5,000 people from around the world in there, all talking about the ways that they're trying to make an impact, and we'd love to see you as well. So come on by. That's all I've got for you today. I'm Amber Melanie Smith, and I'll see you next time.